CKNW, News Talk 980, Vancouver.
A study published by the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology at the University of Chicago found that people unconsciously doubt harder-to-process statements more easily than understandable ones. We're talking basically in plain language about accents. Jennifer Madigan is Director of Learning at the L2 Accent Reduction Center, and Larry Chan is a Manager in Employment Programs at Mosaic. Mosaic is an organization that has worked for many, many years to help new Canadians adjust to life in this country. I welcome both to the program. Jennifer Madigan, let me start with you. The Accent Reduction Center. I didn't know there was such a thing. What do you do?
Well, a lot of people don't know that this service exists. So what we do is we actually retrain the muscles of the mouth to produce North American-like sounds.
How easy or difficult is it to, basically what it sounds like you're saying is you're trying to eliminate an accent?
Not eliminate, but reduce an accent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how easy is it to do that?
It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Usually after 25 hours you see improvement, but it really depends on the individual. So we can teach the skills, but the individual needs to practice to be able to retrain those muscles.
Larry Chan, is this something that you've been familiar with?
Obviously, with newcomers, with English as a second language, we always deal with people with foreign-sounding accents. We deal with it through our language programs, teaching them English. We focus less on accent reduction, more on pronunciation, but anything that can be done to help communicate, improve communication is always, welcome.
Is there a difference between accent and pronunciation? Are we talking the same thing or two different things?
I find that they're the same thing, but Larry, I don't know what you mean by that.
Yeah, it may be semantics, but from our perspective, our focus in, for example, we provide English language programs. We focus on acquiring English language, but also helping them in proper pronunciation of words. And I think within pronunciation, there's a range where it's understandable. And within that, you can still have an accent. In some situations, it might be necessary to address accents. There might be some jobs, for example, where you don't want an accent. So in those cases, that goes beyond what we do. Mm-hmm. Our focus is on just making sure that people are understood, can communicate in English, and can be understood.
Who comes to you?
Engineers, doctors, anybody who wants a job promotion or wants to get through the initial interview. And believe it or not, we have clients who come because they want a girlfriend.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You're a glorified dating service. But seriously, I mean, do companies send people to you to improve their language skills? Do you get clients from the corporate world?
Yes, we do. Here's a good example. We had one fellow who was a salesperson, a floor salesman, and then he got promoted to corporate sales. So now he has to sell computer equipment to corporations, and he had to be really clear on the phone. And people didn't understand what he was saying, so they sent him to us.
Telephone skills. Telephone skills.
We get a lot of salespeople because they need to sell on the phone. So they need to be absolutely clear.
Do you also deal with like I had a phone call the other day, a message left on voicemail, and as I recall, there wasn't a strong accent, but they spoke so fast, I couldn't get the number. I played it back 4 times, and I could never understand the phone number that they were asking me to call.
Right, yes. So in addition to training people how to produce certain consonant and vowel sounds, we work on rate of speech, stress and rhythm, intonation as well, because it varies depending on what your first language is.
Are there some accents that are more difficult to work with than others?
I wouldn't say more difficult to work with, but for the native ear, we like to have the same sort of rhythm as the English language. So some languages, they focus on every word, so like, the man will walk across the street, right? rather than the man will walk across the street, right? So I think it's more of having your ear attuned to certain rhythms.
Is English a difficult language to master or an easy one?
Oh, difficult, because what you see is not what you hear. It's totally different. So.
You agree?
I agree. English is not easy for many of our clients. They always comment on how difficult and how words don't make sense. The letters, maybe the PH, but it doesn't sound the way it's written.
Lead or lead?
Yes. You know, words that look the same but it's pronounced differently. It takes years to acquire and to understand the subtle differences. And it's not reasonable perhaps to expect them to learn it all. It took them many, many years to learn their first language.
Yes.
They come to Canada. They do get some basic English skills through the government. But the reality is it's very difficult for them to have the same level of English skills as they do in their first language. It is a difficult language.
Is English your first language?
It is.
And yours?
Yes.
Yeah. Do either of you speak another language?
No.
I speak some Chinese, but with a heavy accent.
Interesting.
Yes.
604-280-9898. I'm interested in your thoughts on this, perhaps your own personal experience. Have you learned English as a second language? If you do, how difficult was it to do that? And if you started with a strong accent, did you work hard, and how did you work through that if you were able to? 604-280-9898.
This is province columnist Mike Smith filling in for Christy Clark. On today's show, are you falling short when it comes to saving money? Surveys show nearly 1/3 of us don't have a plan at all when it comes to saving. Tune in to get the scoop on saving. Plus, more on the gambling fiasco facing BC lotteries. Is it time for the Lottery Corporation to cash out?
The Christy Clark Show, today at 12:30 on CKNW, News Talk 980.
I got a truck full of awards for Volkswagen.
Okay, great. Just put them by the Tiguan there.
Awards delivery for Volkswagen. Where do you want them?
I'll be with you in just one... another one. Really?
Volkswagen won more awards this year than ever before, like an IIHS top safety pick for the Tiguan compact SUV. And we're celebrating with great offers like 0.9% APR up to 66 months on the 2010 Tiguan during Volksfest. Visit your dealer or VW.ca for details.
My friends, today we stand free. No longer will we be confined to desks or swivel chairs. We deserve the right to view sports highlights from the kitchen, the living room, or even the backyard. Weather permitting, of course. Most of all, we should be able to browse from anywhere. Yes, even there. Wi-Fi.
Feel the freedom of Shaw Home Wi-Fi. Call 310 Shaw to order.
When you have important questions about your money, who do you turn to? Your bank? Your rich uncle? How about you turn to the one man who has made the safety and security of your money his priority, Joe Bowen. Joe Bowen from Dundee Private Investors will treat you like you would treat his own family, with smart, safe advice and your best interests at heart.
I'm Joe Bowen from Dundee Private Investors, and if you want to make sense of your money, get in touch with me today at joebowen.ca. That's joebowen.ca.
Honey, wake up. I had that nightmare where I missed Fountain Tire's summer promotion.
Again?
Yeah, I better take a peek out the old RV door.
Right now at Fountain Tire, scratch and win up to 90% off the purchase of selected Goodyear tires.
They're not open yet.
That's because it's 4 a.m.
True.
And it's Sunday.
True.
Scratch and win ends July 31st. Another reason to trust Fountain Tire. For full contest details and odds of winning, visit fountaintire.com.
I'll just stay out here and wait.
And I'll lock the door.
Well, at least I have my pillow. The parking lot's kind of hard.
Hi, this is Zach Spencer from Driving, and I want to tell you about a service that'll save you money. LeaseBusters.com. Because our lives are changing, your lease can also be changed. Have somebody take it over. Click on LeaseBusters.com. You can get out of your lease early without paying penalties. LeaseBusters.com has people all across Canada looking for a vehicle like yours. They put you together, and you both save. When you need to get out of your vehicle lease, who are you going to click on? LeaseBusters.com.
Are you tired of sitting on the sidelines waiting for sports injury surgery like ACL or arthroscopy? Falls Creek Surgical Center can get you back in the game. Falls Creek is a fully accredited state-of-the-art surgical center with over 50 surgeons to serve you. They offer rapid, direct access to specialist consults, MRI, and surgeries. And at the surgical center, their procedures are performed with less invasive techniques, allowing for quicker recovery. Get back in the game. Call 1-800-815-9338 or visit fallscreeksurgicalcenter.com.
Hi, it's Mark Madriga, and your family deserves a healthy home, including the air that you breathe. That's why Trail is excited to introduce our premium line of air purifiers from IQ Air. The Swiss-made IQ Air Health Pro Plus is the world's most advanced air purifier. IQ Air's Hyper HEPA filtration effectively removes more pollen, pet dander, common flu viruses, mold spores, dust mites, and other harmful substances than any other air cleaner. If anyone in your home suffers from allergies or asthma like they do in my home, you'll want the IQ Air Health Pro Plus from Trail Appliances.
Crime Stoppers of Metro Vancouver presents details of another unsolved crime on BC's Most Wanted.
Maybe it's the heat. For the second time this summer, we have a verbally abusive bandit holding up banks in Vancouver, and this one is a fresh one. Last Wednesday morning, July 14th, just before 11 a.m., our boy goes from teller to teller at the Scotiabank at Oak Ridge Shopping Center, verbally threatening the staff in a demand for money. Truth be told, our boy is getting a little long in the tooth, 50-ish, gray-haired, wears glasses, and was wearing a reflective construction safety vest when he pulled this last caper. We have an excellent picture of him in action taken from the video surveillance posted right now on our website at solvecrime.ca.
Talking about accents, Jennifer Madigan is Director of Learning with the L2 Accent Reduction Center, and Larry Chan is Manager in Employment Program with Mosaic, an organization that for more than 3 decades has helped people adjust to a life in Canada as they come here from many other countries. You were both born in Canada, but
yes.
Jennifer, you're Korean, yes. or your family's Korean,
yes.
and Larry, yours is Chinese.
That's correct.
Is an accent a negative thing?
I don't think it's a negative thing. I think when it impedes communication or people have to second guess what you're saying, then maybe you need some tweaking. But having an accent is who you are. It's part of your heritage, and people should embrace that. It's only when it impedes communication. So it's very important to understand that difference.
But Larry Chen, we also, I think, want to encourage people to learn the language. And for some communities, and I'm thinking of the Chinese community in particular, and perhaps the Indian community, you can move to a big city like Vancouver and live for decades without ever really having to learn to speak English.
Mm-hmm. True. Let me begin by agreeing with Jennifer. It's from our perspective, Mosaic, accents are a wonderful thing because it adds diversity to our culture. It's when it becomes an impediment to communication. And that's when it's really an issue. For someone who comes, say, here to Vancouver where there's a large Chinese community, it can be a challenge because they don't need to function in English. At Mosaic, we do encourage all our people we work with to use English while they're working with us because they need to acquire that language skill. We also encourage them to practice it with their friends, their colleagues. If they don't have people that speak English, make new friends. We offer conversation clubs to give them opportunities to practice that because it is important.
604-280-9898. Will, hello.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
My name is iPhone in 7 years. So.
Oh, Will.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm going to ask you to call back. Kid, is there any way you can call back on a landline?
I'm sorry. I don't have it. No.
Okay, well, perhaps just call back in a few minutes and try and get a better line because it's the bad cell phone actually that's giving us the problem, not any language skill or accent, but it's an increasing problem these days with more and more of the calls coming on cells, and I think with the hands-free factor too, that's another factor. 604-280-9898. Doug, good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
You have a question or a comment?
I work in a place where I guess a lot of us